Konnichiwa and welcome everybody to Kron Reviews. And this time it's both a figure and a game review, and not really going into too deep into the game, but the game in question is Tales of Xillia, and this is the collector's edition box, the Milla Maxwell collector's edition box that I've got for the European release. And this box includes the game, art book, soundtrack and a figure. And I have actually played the game, not fully, but I've played through half of it now, and that's because I already got this day one edition as well, because I got it on a cheap deal. So now it's time to review and open this one up though, and the artwork on this one is really nice. There's all the characters on the front, and Milla Maxwell is this character, which the figure also represents. Here on the side there is the main character Jude Mathis and Milla Maxwell, but both of the characters are sort of main characters. You can choose two routes on the game, so when I replay the game I will choose Milla's route because I chose Jude's route this time, or Jude's story as it says. Here on the back there is a picture of the figure and the art book and everything, and some picture from the game. And on the side there's a silhouette of the figure's pose of Milla, and on the top it just says Tales of Xillia Milla Maxwell Collector's Edition, and it's just textures on the underside. And this is actually the second Tales of game. I got into Tales of last year when Tales of Graces F had its release here in Europe and in US. I actually imported the US version because the European version took so long to get here, and I enjoyed it a lot. However, Tales of Xillia is improved since Graces, both graphics, animations and gameplay. So if you enjoy earlier Tales of games, you will most likely enjoy Xillia a lot too. And this is what the box inside the outer box looks like for the figure itself. And there's a window, so you can see the figure like this. So it's just like a scale figure almost. And on the side there is the same silhouette picture as the other image, and here is just information. And here it says Milla Maxwell, and on the top it says Tales of Xillia. And the game cover itself looks like this. And this actually says Milla Maxwell Collector's Edition on the cover. So that's different from the Day 1 edition, who has inside the cardboard packaging, which I showed earlier, looks like this for the Day 1 edition. The game inside the Day 1 edition looks like this, just like the regular release, just Tales of Xillia, no edition text here or something. Otherwise they are pretty much the same. And there's also the game manual, which is a lot thinner on the Day 1 edition. This one is more thick, so it's more extra information, I guess, of some sort. And also there is an art book, which looks like this, and it's also quite thick. It has a lot of more art. This is the art book you get with the Day 1 edition, which is just half as thick, and this one have a lot more sketches and background images from the characters, like those. The Day 1 edition have just some basic images of the concepts, and I think this one have a lot of more characters, like some of the side characters, and not just that, it have environments and the artwork like this, which is really interesting to see, the background concepts and everything. This is a really nice extra, and just like the Day 1 edition, the game itself is in here, and the soundtrack is also here. And here we have it, the Milla Maxwell collectible figure from the Milla Maxwell Collector's Edition of Tales of Xillia, or Xillia, or how you pronounce it. I must say this figure is above the expectations, because I've experienced before that these exclusive statues with games can sometimes be a bit lower quality or quite cheap somehow. Like, I was a little bit disappointed on the paint jobs on the statue I got with Aliens Colonial Marines collector's box. It was really nicely sculpted and everything, but the painting was a little bit sloppy at sometimes. This one looks very clean and very good. It's above the quality of usual price figures and those alike. And I think this figure is the same as Presto, I think it was, Milla figure. So I think this one is some sort of a bundle. But it's a quite nice quality figure, even if it's not a scaled figure. I've seen pictures and it appears to be roughly 1:8 scale, because beside Alter's, I think it was Alter, 1:8 scale Milla, it looks quite identical in size. Unless this is a slight bit bigger or smaller. I have a hard time to compare sizes if I don't have them side by side. But in any case, this one have very few mistakes. It's very true to character. So let me turn it around and show you the full sculpture. We also have this magic seal on the base, which is really nice. And now to show it up close, of course. I must say this figure is really nice. All those details and the paint job on the skirt and everything. The only painting mistakes I could really make out is there's slight flow of paint out of line on the pink there, hardly visible. There's a little bit paint chipping here on the leg, it's hard to see, but there is there, and a little bit here on the heel there, slight bits, but on a little bit of distance that's not notable at all. And there's a lot of figures I've experienced that is scaled figures, actually quite expensive figures that have more mistakes than this. So there's a lot of credit for this. And of course Milla is a quite good character too. I really enjoyed her character as far as I've played this far in the game, and compared to art and everything, and this figure is actually one of the most true sculptures of Milla so far I have seen. And to make it a little fun, let's place this small Nendrid Petite Milla beside it. So, since there are no accessories or posing abilities, it's not that much more to say about this figure, except that I am really pleased with it. And for that you also get the game and the soundtrack and an amazing art book. So if you're planning to pick up Tales of Xillia, and if you like figures and like extra goods overall, I must say that I highly recommend this set over this set. But if you want an exclusive version and only want the game, then this one is probably very good. And a little note is that I'm probably going to meet up with Hideo Baba next year, because he was this year on the Swedish convention called Närcon as a guest of honor. So I met him in my Aspel cosplay, and it was amazing actually. He was such a nice guy, and I really hope that he comes next year too, because he said that he will try to come next year too, and probably advertise a little bit for Xillia 2, which localized next year. And I'm really looking forward for that, and I'm hopefully going to get this collector edition signed as well. I had a little accident with the signing this year, because I took my car and drove halfway to the convention and realized, fuck, I forget my Tales of Graces game at home. So to turn around the unhappy face of that event is the happy face gained because he will probably be coming back. So that's a little extra note that I have met a quite big person for the Tales of franchise. So yeah, enough about that now. I highly recommend this deal, and until next time, stay tuned and sayonara.